Welcome to Fans of the Forge. I'm Chris. To my left we have...
It's Sean.
To my right we have...
Teresa.
And we are going to cover a couple episodes of Forge and Fire, talk about some other things that's been going on, but first things first, and arguably the most important thing of this show...
I would argue that.
Yeah. Sean, what you drinking?
I'm drinking Shipyard Monkey Fist IPA, and it's pretty good.
Nice. The monkey's like breaking out of the can there.
It's bursting out. And it pairs well, not with flip-flops, not with the feet, but with a charcoal grill, a glass, sun, and a guitar.
Ooh, I like that combination.
Yeah, it's pretty good. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a good old one that we've had before, Lizard King Mosaic Hopped Pale Ale. It's a nice one. I like it. And we have a couple more cans of it left, so I'm probably going to keep drinking it. But
got the sick graphics.
It's got some really cool artwork with like the lizard wearing like a suit like of armor with skulls on it. It's got swords. Actually, that fits quite well. There's like a skeleton and a Lizard King fighting with swords.
Right.
I never even looked that hard at it before. But
is that like some Mongolian warrior there? That armor on?
It looks kind of like it. Yeah, kind of like it.
Cool.
Yeah, pretty neat. Keep up the good work, Pipeworks Brewing. And what about you? What are you drinking?
Good old Oktoberfest. Sam Adams.
Oh.
Fall is starting.
Oh, she's officially started fall, everybody.
Nope.
It's
Get that, the
now.
pumpkin spice.
No, apples.
Apple spice.
We are not a pumpkin family. Not eating pumpkins, at least.
Pumpkin spice?
No. No. We don't
No
care.
pumpkin anything?
We'll carve a pumpkin.
Just jack-o'-lanterns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Pumpkin seeds?
Pumpkin seeds are okay. We don't go out of our way to do those, though.
Yeah. No, it's no good. Not making them yourself, at least. You know, where you pull the guts out, you put them on, like a cookie sheet, and you like salt them, and throw when you bake them.
Yeah, we've done that before.
Yeah, it's sloppy. It's
they still end up, even if you wash them good, sometimes they get slimy, and then they burn, and then it's like, what did I bother doing this for?
Wasn't worth it.
Could have just threw it outside.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get into our Forge and Fire wrap-ups. First up, we will talk about Season 6, Episode 27, The Bhuj. Is that how it's pronounced?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I guess I'll just kind of go through some stuff here, and then people just jump in.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Who was on this episode?
This episode, we had Joe Vachon, who's a part-time smith, Benton Freese.
Yeah, I'll go Freeze.
Frise? I don't know. Josh Howard, and then Adam Vordermark. And, different group of guys, all
part-time,
smiths.
no years
No
listed.
years given. I wonder, so I know I follow Joe on Instagram, and he's a fairly accomplished blacksmith, to the point where I was going through his account today, and when he posted about Forge and Fire, he goes, I don't really make weapons, and I don't like being in the public eye, so I'm on Forge and Fire.
Nice.
But, they're an interesting group of guys here.
Yeah.
So, their first challenge, they had to harvest canisters from an old barbershop chair and then fill cans with steel from straight razors, box razors, hair clippers, and 1095 powder. 2 of the cans are easy to access, and 2 are buried within the chair.
Yeah, 2 of them were like the legs of the chair.
Right.
So the guys would walk up with a hammer, knock them right off. There's 2. The other 2 buried way up in there. Almost, it's just ridiculous. And then dude busts out a torch, he's cutting through some stuff. The chair catches on fire. It's a big flame ball right in front of the judges. There's an extinguisher comes out from one of the safety guys.
Oh, wow.
But they're not done yet because they have to go back in. They're not done cutting. So they go back in. There's more flames. So, yeah, it was quite the ordeal for 2 of the guys there.
When they were showing the animation, didn't they have like kind of ridiculously scaled scissors going in when they were dropping it all in?
When they're showing
the
the
scissors
Damascus.
were the same size as like the straight razor.
All falling into the one canister.
Yeah.
So when I was getting the screenshot of all the guys that were on this episode, I didn't watch the the first chunk of it. So all I saw was it shows the 4 of them, and in the middle is the chair still smoking,
Smoldering, yeah.
smoking in the middle of the whole
Pretty good.
room.
Yeah, pretty good effect.
Yeah. And so we move forward. Benton and Adam have cracks in their billet with 45 minutes left. Adam decides to make a brand new billet, and then what he ends up turning in, unfortunately, isn't close enough to being a blade. It wasn't heat treated. I did catch that.
Yeah.
It wasn't heat treated. It was a formed billet. He did manage to get a second billet made. It just he didn't get enough time to make it into a blade shape.
Yeah.
So
there wasn't enough time to do that.
yeah. So Adam got the boot. Then Joe and Benton for the second round testing. I'm assuming they just had to finish. I don't know if there's any special things they had to do for the handle. Just finish it.
Yeah.
So they had to survive a coconut chop and the horsehair slice. Joe and Benton both survive, and then Josh gets the boot. Did he not make it through one of them?
It just didn't cut as well. With
Okay.
the horsehair.
Got it. Then we move on to the final round. The Bhuj, named after the Indian city of Bhuj. It is a broad, single-edged blade used for hacking and slashing, and it has a stiletto hidden in the handle of the weapon. Very cool.
Pretty neat. It's threaded in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
So they thread it in. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
I guess it is cool, but I guess that's really got to be... That's not useful in battle. It depends on how many threads it is, I guess. If it's, a regular threaded thing, you just hope it only is like 2 or 3 turns, and then it comes out. Like,
Yeah,
for this
Unless
particular-
it's like not loose enough, but like smooth enough that you just kind of quickly spin.
Oh, yeah.
And it-
Yeah.
Kind of like wing nut.
Right.
I forget if the example or animation they were describing it was maybe showed them like being used for hunting.
Okay. Oh, that would make more sense.
Because-
You keep it in there, and then after you
Yeah.
took them down, you take that part out to do
Right. To finish.
Yeah.
So like that kind of comes up during the testing.
Okay.
So, Doug's does the kill test, takes it, whacks at a pig, and then has it in the pig, I believe, and then unscrews it and finally goes for like this like stabbing kill.
Oh, all right.
But during that test, Benton's Bhuj broke during the pig assault.
Oh, how did it break?
It just, I think it broke right off the handle. Like the head just came off. I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So Joe ended up winning, and he had a pretty cool looking Bhuj with some etching done on there. It was really, he had some
neat.
like flames kind of going on the head.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Cool. Sounds like a fun one. Now we move on. Oh, congratulations to Joe, and good job everyone that competed. We move on to Season 6, Episode 28, Blackbeard's Cutlass. Would you like to cover this one, honey?
Sure. So we had Jason Crum, 3 years part-time. Joseph Nimmons is 4 years part-time. He started when he was 15,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and so he's now 19. Stephen Montgomery is 3 years part-time, and Seth Marshall, also 3 years part-time.
So all relatively new.
The most experienced was the 19-year-old,
Yeah.
technically speaking. So they have to make a pirate's boarding axe, and it needed to have a sharpened spike on the back. So axe in the front, spike on the back, and they needed to use steel from a treasure chest full of booty.
Mm-hmm.
So they needed part of the chest and the booty? Was that...
No,
what it was?
just stuff
whatever's
that was
there?
in the chest. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So all guys go with the pirate coins, which was just W2 that was painted.
I was going to say, because you can't use gold, to
they
make
had
a billet.
just chain painted gold. Like it was like not like gold chains that you would wear. No, this is like steel chain, just like painted. And I'm like, okay. And
So they
then
just made it that much more difficult.
They're just
They
like
have to clean it.
random
They have to
just
clean all the
shit.
paint
And
off.
it's all these
Yeah.
tiny things that they also have to clean both sides of all the tiny things.
Yep.
Yeah. So they all go for coins.
Yeah.
Right.
Stephen has trouble trying to get the coins together, and he ends up starting over again with less than 90 minutes. And he sticks a coin onto a pipe.
Yeah.
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 It's kind of odd.
So,
Everyone else seemed to have not much trouble getting the coins. Although some of them were stacking them and actually going to the welder and welding them together and then forge welding them. But
Right.
he turns out not to be good at welding later on.
You kind of, I mean, they're coins, and it's difficult. Like, I can tell you from experience, with these little things that these were quarters. These were a real pain in the ass to be able to try to hold on to this and work with. Never mind multiples of these.
Right, he's trying to
together.
get 3 together, and it kind of like offset, and it just wasn't happening. So,
So with these coins, a lot of them did like a mild steel eyelet thing, and then they had the hardened steel like on the edge.
yeah.
So Jason ends up with a cold shut, and he tries to camouflage it and hope the judges won't notice.
Oh yeah, he was
Chris
just
and I are
adding
like,
He was just welding it to add more to it.
And then Joseph starts over also pretty late, even later than Stephen. He doesn't end up turning in an axe that meets the parameters. There wasn't an eye in it.
No.
It was,
The axe part didn't flare out.
It was more like a spatula.
Yeah.
Yeah. So unfortunately,
Valiant effort, but didn't get it together. So then round 2, they make their handles, but they also need to add some bling from the box. And that needs to have LNJs. You guys can do.
What? Continue going?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, Stevens broke
Yeah.
during the rope chop when he already had a fractured longe, and then it just completely went off. His handle was already kind of split. I was a little surprised they actually did the rope chop with it, but it came to pieces from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the first strike, right?
Yeah, it was the first strike on
Yeah.
the rope. It just bing.
So the first guy got all the way through. He got all the ropes. And then Stevens broke. And then the last guy,
Seth, he had
Seth,
to hit one.
he just had to get one, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
But so Stephen got the boot, and they move on to the final Blackbeard's Cutlass, which was based off of the legendary pirate Blackbeard.
Right.
The cutlass itself apparently broke Captain Maynard's sword in half during a fight.
In half. That's right.
Now, I think I understood it incorrectly because they had the funky clip point on this cutlass. The example one. And
Yeah.
I thought that they said that the way that clip point was there was because his sword had broken half.
Oh. I don't remember hearing that.
I wasn't paying very good attention. I'll be honest. So I could be completely wrong. Anyway, they must include a fuller on both sides, a single edge, have a clip point, a pommel, knuckle bow, right side bar, guard, rear quillion, and a symmetrical perforated guard.
Yes.
Clamshell guard.
Clamshell guard.
Had to be
Yes.
Clamshell guard.
Clamshell.
Well-
And they get 5 days to complete
Hey,
it. I told Teresa they must have started.
Yeah.
They must have filmed this one before they
Right.
filmed the rest of season 6.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll go through this real quick. Seth manhandles the knuckle bow and breaks it when he was trying to bend it, and ends up being a blessing in disguise.
Right.
Now it's prettier.
Now it's prettier than it was. Yes. Oh, and then for testing, they do a bone chop, and I'm looking at these things, and they're these bright white bones, and they're swinging through them in 1 or 2 hits, and so I go to Teresa. What kind of cheap-ass bones are these? Plaster-ass bones? Because they were like, it didn't look like real bones.
I don't know.
They broke apart.
Ask Ben.
Well, you want it to break.
Well, you want them to break, but anytime they've chopped bones before, they don't just...
Hold on.
But there was more to it. It wasn't just the bones.
People break
And then the
bones
peg
every
leg.
day with just their body weight. I mean, this is a sharp object coming down with some force. You don't think it's going to bust these bones apart?
I'm not saying that. I do think it can happen. I'm just saying we've
It did
seen them
happen.
do this on bones before. And
But on like giant bones that are strapped on 2 ends, not the cross bones that then have to go into a peg leg. They wanted them to be able to get to the peg leg.
all right.
Well, I mean, even if they didn't break, you're going to move on to it.
Sure.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. In the end, it came down to the performance during the sharpness test and the weight of the sword.
Yeah.
So Jason ended up winning. Seth's was just too heavy and didn't cut as well in the sharpness test.
Right.
Which was the cutting the rope and then
Releasing a sail.
The sail.
Right.
The pirate sail.
Yes. So congratulations to Jason, who, which we didn't mention, is a radio DJ.
Oh, yeah. Hey, guys and girls.
Exactly. So that was that episode. So those are our 2 Fortune Fire wrap-ups for this week. And now a word from our sponsor. Any of you can say, and we're back. It doesn't have to be.
And we're back.
Wow, that was great.
All
Very
right.
informative.
Yes.
Go check them out.
Yes. All right. So now that we're done with our Fortune Fire wrap-ups for this
Great
week.
sponsor.
Oh, it was amazing. Amazing. We will move on to our Tales from Infinite Forge. So, in lieu of mine being a long story, I'm going to open it up the floor to both of you first, and then I'll wrap up with my story. So, honey, what about you? What have you been working on this week?
Reverse engineering a crocheted water balloon. We're trying to not have water balloon pieces all over the place because it's annoying. And we found one at a craft fair. So I took it apart and kind of wrote it down backwards what each thing was. And now I'm trying to make one myself. I'm in the middle of that.
Cool.
Still working on the bonnets.
Here and there. I switch projects frequently.
Did you measure your dog's
No,
head
I
yet?
mean, no.
I've got a no feeling from Charlotte.
You make the bonnet, and I'll put the bonnet. I'll attempt to put the bonnet on the dog. Like, don't worry about that. Don't worry about her.
Okay.
The dog likes me. It's just. Right.
Okay. Sean, what about you?
Let's see. What have I been up to? I think last week I worked on a Jeep a little bit. I replaced the flasher mechanism.
Oh, yes.
Supposedly on these Jeeps, and I've had this problem for quite some time, actually. It was brought to my attention years ago that if I have the left turn signal on and I step on the brakes, both turn signals flash. So it looks like my flashers are on, but it doesn't show on the display that the flashes are on. So I would never know.
Huh.
So you couldn't
Right.
stop your car and have the left-hand turn signal on?
If I did, it would look like my flash is on, like my hazards are on. So, I heard this from some people. Okay, whatever. You guys are crazy, I figure. And then I noticed that sometimes if I was at a stoplight and had my left signal on, sometimes people would just start going around me, and I'm like, oh, what's going on? So I generally would just try not to use that turn signal, and it's not always easy. So I looked it up to see if this was a common thing. It's not uncommon. People just say replace the switch.
Okay.
So I ordered it, took the shroud off, popped the 2 connectors off the back, wiggled this out, wiggled the new one in, put them on. It was kind of a bear to do, but so here it is. Here's the prop. I think I did something else, but I don't know. And then I ordered a trailer hitch for the Jeep too. So
Trailer hitch?
because I want to put a
Trailer?
bike rack into the receiver hitch to make it easier to move, so I can actually like start bicycling.
Oh, okay.
Which I would want to do. So I got that today in this big ass Amazon box. I figured it'd be a box within a box. It wasn't. It was just, I opened the box and it was just like their Amazon like packing paper, the long strips of brown paper, and then a hitch in there. And it's like, well, and it's like the box is like blown out. I'm like, oh, come on. Like, this isn't going to work out. It was, and I heard like the UPS guy just like drop it off. I hear gunk, and then like a slide across the stoop. Whoosh, and I'm like, what? Like, oh, it's okay. I took a guess at what that was. So
Yeah.
hopefully I'll be able to put that on soon.
Cool. Gotta love how Amazon packages their boxes. Especially, we've gotten like books before that have come in a box that's this big.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then you open it up and there's a smaller box within it and just all this empty space.
Yeah, I ordered little, like, we have a Leap Start for the little one. Got 3 new books for it. The books themselves are, like, yay big. Stacked, they're about that high. The box is, like,
It was huge. It's
that big of a
ridiculous.
box.
It's a waste of cardboard.
What's in the box?
books.
What's in the box?
Books were in the box.
Speaking of books, remember that book I told you to read, or I loaned you?
The one about the guy traveling through different dimensions and
To
shit?
try to find like the original or whatever.
Yeah.
So that author, his last name's Crouch. He wrote another book that we got from the library called Recursion, and it's kind of cool. It's like about being able to recall a memory, like trying to, like, you know, it's fading away, and then it starts off like some people have this like second memory of a life they never lived. And they're like,
How's it a memory if you've never lived it?
Exactly. How is it? How did that happen? And then it goes
I
into.
just read about that. I was looking up books online and I heard about
and
that
then
book.
so as you read further, it kind of breaks it down as to how that could have happened, and it's pretty good.
It's going on my list.
Yeah.
Welcome to the first edition of the Fans of the Forge book club.
I think it's Blake Crouch is the author.
Blake Crouch. Yeah, I wish I could remember the name of his other book that you recommended.
Yeah.
That was very good. I am reading a book called Semiosis. I don't remember the author offhand, but the book's called Semiosis, and it's the only book out there called that, so you'll be able to find it. It's like these people left Earth and they went to a new planet, and when they got there, they found that the plants there were like semi-sentient, and if they did certain things to appease the plants, then the plants would reward them with fruit. And so they end up getting into this whole thing where they're working with different plants and doing things for them so that they can survive on this new planet. And it goes by generations. So it's the first chapter is the first generation of the colony there, and then it connects later on with some of the same characters and some new ones. In each chapter, it moves it forward another generation.
Oh.
So far, I'm about 5 generations in. It's pretty good. So I
Sounds
highly recommend it.
All right.
Did you?
Oh, I'm reading about Versailles,
Oh, yes.
like the
Versailles.
architecture and
Yes.
such.
Okay, and so that leaves one more thing for our Tales from Infinite Forge section. What have I been up to the
What
last
have you
week?
been doing?
Well, this recording session marks the end of a very, very busy week for me because I was part of our good friend Mitch's wedding, which included a rehearsal dinner at a coffee roaster in Middletown called Purgatory, which is actually a very cool place. And the people that run it were in the wedding as well. So, and they seemed like nice people. And that was fun. We did the wedding rehearsal. The next day was the actual wedding. Did I mention I was the best man at Mitch's wedding?
I don't think you did.
That's a key point in the story because I also had to write a speech.
Yeah.
Organize we did the bachelor party for Mitch a couple weeks ago. So there was a lot going on lately, and got to the wedding relatively early to help set up. We really only needed to get there maybe an hour early, so we spent a good chunk of the afternoon just like at this great farm. It was the Nathan Hale homestead, but there's no service.
Oh, yeah.
So it was like for hours, I didn't have a book or anything. It was just hours of like sitting there trying to look at my phone, couldn't look at anything, so I just put it back and just stare off into the woods. Help out a little bit where I could while the girls were getting ready. And then, took pictures, did the wedding, did my speech, which
It went over pretty well.
Yeah,
it was pretty good.
seemed to like
I'd
it.
say it was pretty good.
It wasn't terrible, I guess, which is good.
No, it's good.
And then we had a fun time at the wedding. That was good. Then we came home, and Teresa and I played Super Mario 3 until about 1 o'clock in the morning.
And then I was done
And then Teresa tapped out.
because I had to be up with the kids the next day.
Yeah, so she tapped out around 1 o'clock. I stayed up until 3 o'clock. And at that point, I packed up the car and drove to the airport for a flight to Las Vegas.
Wow, you pulled an all-nighter?
I pulled it all
did.
night.
Oh.
Yeah, it was tough. But I made it all the way to the airport, no problems. I got to tell you, when you get to the airport at 3:30 in the morning and you're the first person to get in line for the TSA, it goes real smooth.
Oh, yeah.
And I walked right down the line. I opened up my bags. I even had stuff that normally would get flagged. And I just pulled it out and put it in the box and go, this is what this is. This is electrical fittings.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay. So what are they going to do? Set it aside? I'm the only person there. So I just walked through, grabbed my stuff, caught my plane, and tried to sleep on the plane. And that was a miserable failure. So I got to Denver, got some breakfast, got on my second
Did
flight.
you have a Denver omelet?
No, I should have. I didn't think about that.
Opportunity.
I really blew it on that
Oh,
one.
man.
So anyway, flew into Las Vegas, catch an Uber over to Mandalay Bay, which is where the trade show is that I'm working, and also that's where the hotel room is that I'm supposed to have. But when I get there, no hotel room ready.
What?
So even though I did early check-in, didn't matter.
Oh, was it just because it was too early?
It was too early, so they didn't have a room ready. So I had to then go into the lobby bathroom, change into my work clothes, going on no sleep.
And this is after I had talked him out of just wearing his work clothes on the plane. I'm like, no, go. Like, when you get there, relax a little bit.
You know, you take a shower when you get there, get prepped before you go down to the show. Nope, none of that. Had to dress in the bathroom, go over to the show, work from 11 to 5 at a trade show, which, if you haven't worked a trade show, but you've probably been to one, it's forward-facing. You're dealing with people all day long. And my company generally has one of the busier booths at this trade show because we have a magician that pulls people into the booth.
Oh, what? A magician?
Yeah.
Yeah, they hire a magician.
Yeah, we hire a magician.
Wow.
to go crowdsource.
I got to go to one of these trade shows.
He's very good at pulling people into the booth. People love to see the tricks that he does, but he also, he's a corporate magician, so he links it to messages about our product and stuff. And then he'll bring them in, toss them down at one of our workbenches. And
There's a fitting behind your ear. Ho ho!
Oh, better than that.
He's a little better than that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen him do that particular thing.
Oh.
He's got all sorts of neat little tricks that he does. One of his big things is he wears a nice jacket, like a nice suit jacket.
Yeah.
And inside the jacket, he's got multiple little banners that are attached to him. And so people could be walking by and he just reaches in his coat and he goes, hey, and he pulls this thing out and it's like, hi, or it's like, welcome to Bridgeport. And so he'll do that and people laugh every time he does that. And so that's how he gets his foot in the door. People that would have normally avoided our booth or just not stopped now are talking to him. And then every time he does this, he'll get a group of 4 people, 6 people, 8 people, grab them, bring them over to one of us in the workbenches, and then we just go through a product spiel.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, people are like, oh, you have this, you have that, and you're talking about product. And so it's a very long, but also you're very busy the whole time. After that, we all then met up for drinks with the people from the new company, and then went out to dinner. So after dinner, I couldn't tell you what time. I think we walked around for a little while afterwards. So I didn't get to bed until maybe almost 11 o'clock or midnight Las Vegas time.
Yeah.
And I'd been awake that whole time.
Yeah.
It was
So
tough.
that's a lot of hours.
Yeah, I was exhausted.
More than 24.
And then I went to try to go to sleep, and I'm on East Coast time. So I woke up at 4 o'clock Las Vegas time thinking, well, I'm normally up by now. So didn't get much sleep there. Worked another day at the show. Just kind of,
Doing the show thing.
Yeah, doing the show thing, having dinner afterwards. And then the third day, it was an earlier start. He started earlier in the morning, ended at 1 o'clock. And then it took 5 hours for us to break down the booth afterwards because it's a big booth. And I missed all of the setup because of the wedding.
Yeah.
And but luckily, stuff that I had implemented for the trade show, like we have TV monitors that we put on the walls behind the workbenches,
Right.
which in the past had faced outwards so that people walking by could see slideshows or videos of our products. We turned them on the inside this time, and I loaded up iPod Touches with product application photos so that we could be talking to people at our workbench, talking to people about specific products, and then go, here's an application where this works. And then you pop it up on the TV behind you. Went over well. I'm glad it went over well.
That's cool.
But, it added a whole extra layer of things that then had to get broken down at the end of the show. But overall, it was a good show.
Good show.
Yes. Wait, what is that from?
That's from something.
I've heard that before.
Like it's got to be a cartoon.
Yeah.
Good show.
I don't know. Anyway.
It's a saying.
It is. I've heard that. Anyway, I flew back yesterday. It was a whole day of travel. And I wanted to wake up early this morning to try to get back into my normal routine. And my body was like, what are you thinking?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't wake up until 7 o'clock. And I had to be at work for 8. So I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
But it worked out. So that's why I don't have anything to show forging-wise, because I've been extremely busy the last week plus.
Well, we got some other goodies
There's
here.
some other things to show.
We do have some other things to
There's
show.
a box on our front porch when you got home.
Yep. I got home, there was this box on the front porch, and it had something from... Oh, what's this?
Oh, what do you know?
What's that right there? Oh, that's Forge and Feathers, it says.
I
Forge
like
and Feathers.
that shirt. It's got a pocket.
It's got a pocket. I like the pocket.
I like the pocket.
Actually, do you see the back?
I kind of did. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You got an ostrich, a sword, a hammer, and an anvil.
Yeah. Not bad.
That's kind of cool.
If you didn't know by now, Forge and Feathers is Zack Lewis, friend of the show. And he not only sent us this nice shirt that I have claimed for myself,
Yep.
he also sent us a anniversary present that I had commissioned to have him make for Teresa, which is right here. It is a horse head horseshoe with our name on the bottom. And it came out pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks
nice.
good. I like it.
And it's something maybe I'll be able to do someday.
Are you going to give it to her?
Well, he already
I already
did.
did.
Oh, look at that. That's so sweet.
Also in that box, which was actually on top of the box, and so I opened it and pulled the shirt out, and then you see this, and I'm like, oh, it's an ostrich egg, and then I'm like, looking at it, it's like, oh, there's holes in it, and it's like, it's empty. It's an empty ostrich egg, but still, it's an ostrich egg shell, and it was pretty cool. And then underneath that, there was a little sign that said, keep digging, and that's where we found this. But I was like, this is actually kind of neat. This will be a nice little set piece. You can see it in the... I don't know if it'll actually make the cut based on where it's positioned here, but I'll probably...
It's a large orb.
It is. It is. It's a very large orb egg thing. I'll probably find a spot or some way to maybe add a shelf to the wall behind us and just stick it on the shelf.
Well, if you get a hook, you just right in the hole.
Or a piece of like threaded rod all thread right through
Right
there.
in there.
Yeah, that'd work. That'd work.
Yeah, make a hook for it. Egg hook.
Egg hook. All right. It's on the list. On the list of things to do. But thank you to Zach for sending us that stuff. We really appreciate it, and it'll be a nice addition to the studio.
Yeah.
So that's all I got. That was my Tales from Infinite Forge for this week.
And then you're going away for work again.
Oh, on like Wednesday.
So,
Oh.
That one's a little easier. It's only like driving to Syracuse, New York. So it's like 4-hour drive, but it's not, a whole day of being in airports and things. And I get to drive. So it's much easier when I can just pop on a podcast and drive. So it should be fine. And that's it. So that's Tales from Infinite Forge. And what else do we have? Anything else to talk about?
no.
No.
We haven't done Blade Speak in a while, but I didn't research anything, so I don't feel like talking about anything. I can't think.
Yeah.
All right. I guess that's the episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
All right.
that's about it.
Thanks everybody for watching. Remember, if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow the Instagram page, Fans of the Forge, or Facebook. Send us the likes and subscribes and all that good stuff. We love it. And
we'll get a couple more episodes in next episode.
Yes.
And some Knife or Death in there too.
Definitely will. We'll have to catch up on that. As I believe the Knife or Death season finale is airing tonight.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Already?
Oh.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me, but that's what I saw was that it was airing tonight. So I think they might have had an even shorter season than the previous season. Because we've only watched 2, and then there was maybe, 1 or 2 other ones that recorded since then?
2 or 3.
Oh, then maybe it's the same. It was only 6-episode long season.
I saw Spicy Mike was talking about, I think, being on this episode.
Well, yeah, so we haven't talked. I think he was on the 3rd episode. I don't know.
So maybe...
We don't know who won that one. We'll catch up.
So maybe there is like a finale.
Yeah. And then I think, honestly, that's probably the series finale of it, right? I mean, it's the guys that were on the show are happy that it even made it on the air at all
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I frankly had kind of heard through the grapevine that it wasn't coming back. So
For season 3.
yeah, for season 3, even though they had already recorded
Right.
it. But anyway, now that we've gone off on this tangent after I've already said all this stuff, thanks everybody again for watching, and we will catch you next time we record.